London Calling. I'm Tash, and this is Buccaneer, your source for what they've done.
This is fucked. Albion is running the station.
And the entire police service. But don't worry, if you're not pleased with your privatised goon squad, just take your business across the street.
Great. Not a fan of the Met, but I'll take Bobby's over jackboots any day.
Not to worry, the only difference now is the uniform, assault weapons, and the fact they're motivated by profit over public service. Now, any record or information on the Spider-Bot will be further in.
That wasn't so hard, was it?
Watch it, will you?
You asking for another slap? What's going on with that? Oh. Shut it down.
Let's find the son of a bitch! Tron, spread out and search. Someone thinks they're funny. Find out who they are.
We've got this whole place secured. It's only a matter of time.
Searching for target. They're pissed off. Let us wrap it up. Drone, initiate search protocol.
Totally understand. Look here, we have nothing at all to worry about. Rest assured, we'll do everything we can to help you. Alright, I have logged your complaint. We'll get to it straight away. Alright, so tell me, anything else I can do?
You think of what I'm thinking, Bagley?
According to the serial numbers, this matches the piece of Spider-Bot from the Tone bombing site.
Must be a way to ID the last user.
Navigate the Spider-Bot from out of that room. I'll need a direct connection in order to learn more from our bisected friend.
I got this.
You brute! Degenerate!
opening right there looks like a good exit point. Right, get comfy. This spider-bot might be broken and missing some of its legs, but it can still jump and fit through vents. That's a good way to get through the station undetected. That's Dalton's mask. It must have been recovered from Parliament. It might be the only thing left of him now. That's a part of the remote detonator system from Parliament. If the Met, or Albion rather, actually analysed it, they would see it wasn't DedSec's handiwork at all. Buggery buggery, look at all this junk. You'll have to jump your way across to get to the next vent opening.
decided they couldn't be trusted to do their jobs. Suddenly some corporation can clean up our streets better than the same police force we've had for who knows how long. When crime fighting is treated like a business, crime will never go away. That's the bad business, right? Don't tell me Albion has our best interests.
If the police could handle their job, Albion would be necessary, but they can't. Home bomb is a perfect example. Like slaves overseas boxes. So they're not or are they?
You're almost there. Make your way through this last bent path.
I have it.
Scanning Spiderbot and accessing its internal drives. While I'm analysing this data, you should make yourself scarce. Unless you'd like to explain to your new, heavily armed, privatised police force why you've broken into the station.
Fine.
Wait, give up while you still can. Where did you go?
Where the hell are they?
Doing a sweep of the premises.
They're around here somewhere. No room for error here.
Let's have a look around.
Bollocks! They must...
The Spiderbot fragment you found has a satellite-based GPS module that regularly pushed its location to a specific ground station.
This fucking rabbit hole just goes deeper and deeper, doesn't it?
Pushing you the ground station's coordinates.
Albion needs your help to keep London safe. If you see something, say something.
Bees, dude, robot bees. I don't know how much clearer I can make it.
Did you forget to take your pills again?
No, listen. It was a guy in a beekeeper suit, only instead of regular bees, he had robot bees. And instead of living in the hive, they just flew around.
Government officials...
This is London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your pirate podcast source for what they don't want you to know. I'm Tash, and this time we're giving a special shout out from us to the boys and girls at the Signal and Intelligence Response Service, better known as SIRS. Why not? they're going to be listening anyway. They're listening to everything. But don't worry, we're not going to say anything bad about a massive, unaccountable spy organisation that uses its powers to stifle dissent and shut down free speech. Instead, we're going to look at how SIRS became so powerful. And as usual, we'll keep everyone's names in a so SIRS doesn't come looking for them. Ian was a veteran political writer and podcaster back in the days of pre-crisis Britain.
Is the world we're living in now fascist? Well, this is what fascism is. It is the complete and total control of the individual. The desire to basically say to the individual, nothing in your life matters. On an individual basis, you are now part of the whole, part of the nation, and the only meaning that you will find in your life is to become part of the nation. What is a nation? A nation doesn't mean anything, right? The nation is basically the
All citizens are required to report any unlawful behavior to Albion personnel.
Max, little help here? How do I get in?
I'm detecting a surveillance network guarding a space under this bridge. If you can patch into it, perhaps you can take a look inside. The GPS history of the spider-bot we recovered regularly pings these coordinates. Our mystery witness to the real bombers must have come to this lovely, damp location several times.
It's definitely out of the way. Perfect spot to do some off-the-book shit.
Or to discreetly dump a body into the Thames.
This is London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your pirate podcast source for what they don't want you to know. I'm Tash, and this time we're giving a special shout out from us to the boys and girls at the Signal and Intelligence Service. Better known. Why not? They're listening to everything. But don't worry, we're not going to say anything bad about a massive, unaccountable spy organization. Ian was a veteran writer and podcaster back in the days of pre-crisis.
Well, fuck. We got ourselves a rogue cop shop.
Well, if Albion was stomping all over your workplace, you'd find a different place to store your lunch too. And it seems our mystery officer was dedicated.
Enough to follow a lead all the way to the Tome bombing. What do you think, Bagley?
The computer's dusty enough to kill an asthmatic, but there may still be something useful on it.
This is Inspector Caitlin Lau. Well, former inspector now. Since Albion's coup, the Met is no more. The police brass had already buried the evidence anyway. Everything implicating Albion and Clan Kelly in the bombings. But I know Mary Kelly's band of twats were involved. And they're involved in other crimes we can look into. Me and a few good mates are willing to go off book. Going after Mary Kelly again. I'll never fucking learn, will I? Inspector Caitlin Lau, video log. Clan Kelly and Albion are teamed up on some deal. I don't have all the details, but it looks to be human trafficking. The European Processing Center is the Albion angle. Since the bombings, they can grab anyone off the street. Call them illegal immigrants, potential DedSec insurgents, whatever. Though we know who the real danger is. So, Clan Kelly gets hold of these people, these immigrants, deportees, victims, really, and they're taking them somewhere. But where and why? It all comes back to the boss lady herself. I knew she was into something, but she wriggled off the hook. There's only one way I can do this. 24/7 surveillance on Mary Kelly. If I'm caught, well, this will be my last entry. But I have to see what she's hiding.
So, our mystery officer was Inspector Caitlin Lau. It sounds like Mary Kelly was her white whale, and her investigation led her to the bombings.
Fuck. Albion have thrown in with the Kellys, waiting on the bloody lizard people to join the conspiracy.
It seems like 0 Days Web covers all of the unsavory bits of London. Tug on a thread, and it leads back to them. And Kelly and Albion included.
Well, I'm not sitting on my ass while they go on abducting people off the street.
Inspector Lau mentioned Albion is running their part of the operation out of the EPC. Detectives like us call that a lead.
Base, what's our status?
London is under a state of emergency. Non-essential travel is discouraged.
This Albion Clan Kelly business leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And if Caitlin Lau's right, then this little nugget jumps to the front of the queue. We have reason to believe a former DedSec operative may still be alive, but missing inside the EPC.
Angel Lopez, not London born, but I won't hold that against him, unlike some others.
Looks like Angel got caught up in the immigration roundup, which, ironically, may be the only reason he escaped 0 Days DedSec purge.
Anti-immigrant sentiment has grown in London since the bombings. Albion fuels it. It allows them to send anyone they want to their brutal refugee camp.
We need to find Angel before they discover his DedSec.
But don't.
This is kind of personal too. Finding his trail might just shed some light on the Albion Clan Kelly connection.
Shite. Well, bright side, at least they wouldn't have shipped him out. But means he's in limbo at the EPC. Not ideal.
I've sent the details to your device and advised our contact at the EPC. They can get you inside.
Is the world we're living in now fascist? Well, this is what fascism is. It is the complete and total control of the individual. The desire to basically say to the individual, nothing in your life matters. On an individual basis, you are now part of the whole, part of the nation. And the only meaning that you will find in your life is to become part of the nation. What is a nation? A nation doesn't mean anything, right? The nation is basically just encapsulated by the leader that takes over, that claims that he, has this sort of access to the soul of the country, to the soul of the people. He never does, it's just a myth, but that's what they go for. And on that basis, they take the right to control every aspect of your life, from who you talk to where you eat, to where you go to hang out with your friends. And what we're seeing now is a contemporary iteration of this process where you get corporations and the state operating in tandem, basically molded into one another. But that isn't that rare. I mean, we saw exactly the same thing in Nazi Germany. You look at the concentration camps that operated in Nazi Germany, there were private companies in those camps making use of that slave labor. Fascism often works with corporations, and it's doing the same now. That's the way in which they track what you do. That's the way in which they track who you talk to. They operate as each other's proxies.
Charles is an expert in the dark arts of surveillance who worked to set up democratic media and post-communist states. How did it go so wrong in Britain?
You know, we're looking at all the wrong things when we look at
Britain's crisis. There's a lot of concentration on data and how that's been used and manipulated, and what we haven't looked at is power structures and profit.
All units, I repeat, all units. We have reports of a hostile in your area. Responding to the call.
This is London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your pirate podcast source for what they don't want to know. I'm Tash, and this time we're giving a special shout out from us to the boys and girls of the Signal and Intelligence Response Service, better known as SIRS. Why not? They're going to be listening. But don't worry, we're not going to sure?
Returning to HQ. Search terminated.
Everyone knows the location secret. If there's
No, she's in the kitchen on the right. Yes, I did. It's in the kitchen on the...
Albion's authority.
Well, if you let me finish... Right. Yeah, no, I told him that. Yeah. Oh my god, I know. Yeah, so that's exactly what I said. I'm just gonna call him. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know.
Hold still during the scan. Hope you're not hiding anything. Your profile triggered an alert. What? That can't be right. I'm legal, I swear. Shut up. Under arrest. Whip myself. Oh.
Seeing as this city is swarming with drones, an expert might come in useful.
Ultra low ping.
City's gone to pot, hasn't it? Interested in maybe changing things for the better?
Oh, I get it. You're DedSec. I've got some info for you.
Go on.
What's got more packages in the Parcel Fox warehouse? Me and my co-workers, because we all just got severance. 300 people all at once. Fired. Said we were being replaced.
That's terrible.
I'm doing all right, but the whole thing was just super shitty, you know? Cloak and Dagger. We were all video game developers. There's no way they could have replaced all of us that fast. Well, maybe, but probably not without doing something dodgy.
Yeah, you're right. So now you want DedSec to do some digging for you?
That's right. If you help me out with this, I'll owe you one. A big one. Hello?
A tech corporation acting unethically? Sounds out of character, but let's investigate anyway.
I'll check it out. Oi, get out!
Urgent call. Possible hostile at your location. Received. Stand by for
This is London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your pirate podcast source for what they don't want you to know. I'm Tash, and this time we're giving a special shout out from us to the boys and girls at the Signal and Intelligence Response Service, better known as SIRS. Why not? They're going to be listening anyway. They're listening to everything. But don't worry, we're not going to say anything bad about a massive, unaccountable spy organisation that uses its powers to stifle dissent and shut down free speech. Instead, we're going to look at how SIRS became so powerful. And as usual, we'll keep everyone's names and locations secret, so SIRS doesn't come looking for them. Ian was a veteran political writer and podcaster back in the days of pre-crisis Britain.
Is the world we're living in now fascist? Well, this is what fascism is. It is the complete and total control of the individual.
Auto drive now
basically say to
enabled.
the individual, nothing in your life matters. On an individual basis, you are now part of the whole, part of the nation, and the only meaning that you will find in your life is to become part of the nation. What is the nation? The nation doesn't mean anything, right? The nation is basically just encapsulated by the leader that takes over, that claims that he, has this sort of access to the soul of the country, to the soul of the people. He never does, it's just a myth, but that's what they go for. And on that basis, they take the right to control every aspect of your life, from who you talk to where you eat, to where you go to hang out with your friends. And what we're seeing now is a contemporary iteration of this process where you get corporations and the state operating in tandem, basically molded into...
Auto drive now disabled.
Isn't that rare? I mean, it's not exactly the same thing in Nazi Germany. You look at the concentration camps that operated in Nazi Germany, there were...
You've arrived at our contact's former employer, and aside from some heavily armed security guards, it's basically a ghost town.
Huh. Interesting.
I don't think this replacement is on site. Dig around and see if you can figure out where they are.
Together we are strong. Together we are strong.
How do you feel about changing the state of things? Fuck me, dead sec. All right, maybe you could help. Got myself in a bit of trouble. I mean, can't guarantee anything, but we'll try. What's up? Got my mate and I in this activist group. We did protests, picketing. Together it felt like we were unstoppable, but the last protest turned to shit. My mate got pummeled by Albion and thrown in an ambulance.
Official story is they died, but thing is they won't let anyone see the body. No one.
That's terrible. Something's not right here. I just need some answers. You help me find out what happened and I'll owe you. Oof, that's not good, is it? We'll look into it.
We don't need you here.
vehicle, people. Begin lockdown.
Right, fan out and find the target.
Vehicle identified. Searching for the source.
Area's clear. Continuing the search.
Let's keep our eyes peeled. Stick to procedure.
We have a possible hacked vehicle. Proceed to lockdown.
Oh! Something's wrong here. Lock it down.
Drones guard the area.
Returning to standard duty.
Hear that? Initiate lockdown. Cut the damn hack on this vehicle.
Spread out. Find the suspect. Drone, initiate search protocol.
Searching for intruder.
All clear. Moving on.
Eyes open. Weapons ready.
Spider here. I needed lockdown immediately.
Sign of the target.
Spider bomb! Find whoever's deployed it.
I know you're here somewhere. You can't hide forever. Nothing to report. Check it elsewhere. Fucker could be anywhere.
Trail's gone cold. Let's regroup.
People of London, all illegal activities will be prosecuted.
You can do your corporate espionage from there. This is strange. The manifest for the shipment you just destroyed mentions an internment facility in the borough, but not one I've heard of. Well, they'll just have to do without the rubber hoses and black masks for a while.
All clear here.
You know what to do. Search the area. Drone, search protocol.
Take the spider offline. Look around. No stone unturned. Drone, enter search protocol.
Drone, initiate lockdown. Not seeing anything here.
Christ! Balls!
Let's find this wanker.
Moving on.
Sending you the data.
Copy that. I'll analyze the company records while you get to safety.
Drone, run a search on the sector.
Currently searching the bridge. Target remains undetected.
Moving on.
Shit. That's gonna be hard to explain.
Halt! Failure to comply will result in forceful intervention. Do not hesitate to report a crime.
Let's find this one. Drone, begin search. Moving on. No one's here.
Some kind of joke.
Must have got away. All right, let's wrap this up.
Spider's acting up. Lock it down. What the? Who's hacking this thing? I know you're there.
Don't get ambushed.
Bagley, what have we got?
Well, I found our prospect's replacement. It's an AI. And a pretty shoddy one at that. Nowhere near as smart as me. It could maybe replace a few million humans at most.
Fucking hell.
Oh, right. I suppose from your perspective, that's a lot. If you like, we can go destroy it before it puts anyone else out of work.
Okay, excellent. Send me the coordinates.
Turn around and exit the area right now.
a startup advertised passive income to anyone willing to enlist their autonomous vehicle in their networked taxi service, many people jumped at the opportunity. The hidden catch? Their cars were being used to ferry drug shipments. Join us at GBB for the full story.
Potentially armed and hostile.
Monitoring for unusual activity. Control, I can't see the suspect. Please advise. Target is long gone. Disengage. Over and out.